How very blessed I feel to be able to join you on this beginning of the connection time, the connection between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I hope this is a special time for you and your family, those born of the flesh and those born of the Spirit. Some families are found in neighborhoods and friendship circles. My family has had an appreciation. Many of my family have held an appreciation for animals, and how fitting to think of the animal kingdom at Christmas. Remembering the manger scene where baby Jesus was born, and then there was the colt Jesus rode on into Jerusalem as he rode to what he understood was a painful death awaiting him at the hands of those who had become angry with him. They were angry for a reason, and the reason was because this gentle Jesus had to make known in a more full way, the fullest of truth, that he was the king they had been waiting for. Funny, Jesus was waiting for the painful death he knew was waiting him, and all the while, the people who would celebrate him riding on a colt of a donkey would be soon turned into an angry crowd. Kings do that sometimes, but I love what I learned about the colt in this story. The unridden colt. Other than this moment, Jesus walked everywhere he went. This was a moment to behold, a moment of heroic efficacy for us to witness. The culture needed this, but pay attention to this special colt, a colt that had never been ridden. Amazing. This never been ridden before colt now becomes at peace with a rider. I think this is as magnificent of a revelation of who Jesus is as any evidence. Jesus in this moment doesn't have a need to break this colt, but rather this colt, as all of creation does, he recognizes his rider because he knows who created him to be this colt for a special purpose and plan. I marvel at this. With my family of incredible caretakers of various special representatives of God's creatures, I have come to have a sense that animals may actually be more sensitive to the voice of the Holy Spirit than many of us. When this young colt was at peace with his rider, Jesus, he was behaving as creation was intended and created to be, at peace with the Creator. What a story for this Christmas. Considering also the manger scene, with animals such as my father and family cared for, and now for a variety of beautiful members of God's creation, I reflect from time to time as I see these little friends, as I remember my father and family caring for these manger-type animals. I am grateful for this part of God's story. Jesus rode the colt to allow the world to see that he was king. This is the type of scene that kings are part of. And just like this was a demonstration of the gentleness of Jesus riding on a colt, this picture gives the opportunity to call Jesus our King. Remember, Jesus walked everywhere, except in this moment, because he was demonstrating more than his kingship. He was demonstrating his gentleness. Soon the religious leaders would turn against this gentle king, for in this moment there was also a clarity to all of who Jesus was, King of Kings. Too much for these religious leaders to accept. Too much for many today, it sometimes seems, as it is true that religious parts of Jewish faith and of many persuasions, still stumble over the fact that Jesus is Lord and King. Not the King that crushes, unless sin is destroying the life of one he loves, but the King who can take a colt, unridden, and see this beautiful creature respond in peace. I hope we can be encouraged to take the cue from this unridden colt, where the natural response on our part would be to kick and throw Jesus off, to rather be one with the Creator, to find peace in allowing Him control. Please remember, I'm praying for you because I love you. I want this Christmas truth about a baby born to our world to radically still your life and heart. No matter what your faith position today, Jew and Gentile, you and me,